Welcome to another edition of Legal Talk here on eRadio with Hahn Hahn Attorneys. And today, delighted to chat again to Hahn Hahn from Hahn Hahn. Jaco, how's it going?
Hi, Ian. Very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. Welcome back. Nice to chat to you again. Today, we're talking about spam calling. Recently in the news, we're seeing all these stories, but it would appear that companies can no longer spam call me. Is this correct, Jaco?
Yeah, in reality, from the commencement of the Protection of Personal Information Act, the so-called POPI Act, or when the first white paper came out, it was originally going to be called Papaya, but they've changed it now, so they talk about now POPI Act. So from the commencement of this POPI Act, they were in actual fact not allowed to do it anymore. But the nice thing about this now is that the information regulator has now issued this notice, although it wasn't relating to spam calling, but an actual and unsolicited email. And if you read the notice and even the articles, you would see it was one of those where the consumer tried to opt out, to cancel, but these guys just kept on sending him emails, and eventually the specific consumer complained to the information regulator. Now, that's the custodian of the POPI Act, if I can put it like that. That's the regulator, so that's the one that you complain to. Now the only way currently in which somebody can spam call you is if you had previously consented to them spam calling you. Now, if I look at the spam calls that I receive weekly, I know that I've definitely never given those people any permission to spam call me like that. Now there's other areas that if they were able to convince the information regulator that they fell within those areas, then they could have. But that's normally something to say that you were that you entered into a contract and they needed to call you in order to get some information, and therefore they are not in fact spam calling you. So what I would suggest to a listener is that once these, and I use the word once, not if, once the spam caller phones you, I mean, they always start off telling you who they are, and then for me, it's quite difficult to ascertain actually who they are, but stop them and make sure and say, look, I'm more interested, tell me what it is, who you are, and take down the company's details. And then once you've taken it, I'll say to them that, look, they must immediately remove you from their list and that you will be laying a complaint against them with the information regulator. Now, imagine a world where if you see a telephone number and you don't know the telephone number, it's actually a business that not wants to spam you, but there is something legit, if I can put it like that, to the call. How wonderful would that be? Now, the way that we do that is by laying complaints at the information regulator. And they've made it quite fairly easy for you. You can go onto the information regulator's page. It's just inforegulator.org.za, which I'm sure you'll put on your website in any event. But then they'll see that on top there's a bar with a couple of things, and one of them is complaints. Now, if you press complaints, I see the website is a bit slow, so people must just be a bit patient. If I say slow, I mean it doesn't open up in milliseconds. It takes about a second and a half.
Yeah, it's quite normal.
And then you say, sorry?
It's quite normal for South African companies.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. I'm just very bad when it comes to being patient and opening documents. So for me, it was frustrating a bit in the beginning, but they've got a lot of information on there, so we accepted that it's there. And there you'll see that there's what they call a Papaya Form 5, which you complete, and then that you send to Papaya Complaints at inforegulator.org.za, but you'll see that on the website. Now, if you open that form 5, just for your listeners, you'll see that there's one of 2 boxes that you can tick. The one is the alleged interference with protection of personal information, and the other one is the termination of adjudicator. Now, if you fill it in via your computer, the way that I normally do it, and I click the first one, you'll see that it automatically ticks the next one also. In my view, don't worry about that. Just complete it and fill in and give brief details of it. Now, one of the things that you'll fill in is, say, reason for complaint. And you just say, spam called by company X without my permission. Because here's the principle about the protection of personal information. And the principle is somebody is not allowed to process your personal information. Now, if I phone you and you haven't given me consent to do that for purposes now of spam calling, then you are processing my personal information without my consent, and they're not allowed to do that. So I would really urge the listeners to, when the spam calls are there, listen to what the individual has to say and then report it. Pertaining to unsolicited emails, the principle is the same. Now, what I normally do there is I would unsubscribe, or if I can't, there's no unsubscribe button, which there should be, but let's say there isn't such a button, send an email to the guys, and then if they continue, then what you do, then lay a complaint at the information regulator. Or if you can't unsubscribe, because I've had one many years ago where there wasn't an option for me to unsubscribe, plus there was no contact email address even to send it to. Now, I mean, technically I could now go onto that person's website and see if they've got a website and then tell them to stop sending it to me. Or in that case, just lay a complaint with the information regulator to do that.
Exactly. And Jaco, another nice life hack is to use a Truecaller, because the users of Truecaller, they report these spam calls, and then they're blacklisted on that platform, that database of Truecaller, and then that kind of syncs with your phone and the app, and then it stops that call from coming through to you. But I must say, it's like 95% effective. You still get 5% of these spam calls coming through, or SMSs at least.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the irony of this whole thing is, and I don't know whether it's just me, but it feels as if since the information regulator have given out this notice, the enforcement notice, that the number of calls that I'm getting is dropped.
Yeah,
it is significant. Maybe
definitely.
I'm talking too soon, and maybe it's just wishful thinking, but. And this is then must be a warning to companies to say that this is going to increase. They must really relook at the way that they communicate with respective clients and make sure that they comply with POPI, because the reality is that the information regulator, in my view, if I had to take a wild guess, can't wait for the first big one to hit people, not just this one, to show the world that we are serious, that they are serious.
So, so I think probably the best way to, fix this problem is to do what Jaco said, or also get the Truecaller app on your phone, because it really, really works. It helps a lot. And it's free, It's got a free version, which is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. No, excellent. So, like I say, go and have a look on the inforegulator.org.za and take it from there.
Net so, Jaco, bye, dankie. That's another legal talk for this week. Ek sê vir jou bye, dankie, en ek hoop dat jou spam calls al hoe minder sal word, Jaco.
Baie dankie. Ek gaan sorg dat dit minder gaan word. Ek gaan hulle so op 'n string rapporteer tot hulle almal uitstuur met posduiwe om sê los Jaco almal se telefoonnommer uit.
Ja nee, ek sal nie met jou gesukkel het as ek een van hulle was. Ek sê lou vir jou. Jaco, bye, dankie.
Dankie, all the best.
Are you or your business in trouble and struggling to find a solution? Call Hahn Hahn Attorneys as we assist clients in finding solutions. We specialize in consumer and food law, commercial and construction law, forensic investigations, and administrative law. Visit hahnlaw.co.za. That's HAHN. We assist clients nationwide. Hahn Hahn Attorneys, because we care. Don't miss Legal Talk with Hahn Hahn Attorneys, Wednesday mornings at 10 on eRadio.